Whoa, is that you, my MWG weather audience? Whoa, hello there. I'm back after a month of hiatusness.
What?
Since the hurricane season is now officially over, I'm gonna start doing what I promised. Going to combine all the major clips from all my different videos on the major hurricanes of the season. I'm going to do it on the hurricanes that affected a lot of people in a major way. And the first hurricane to do so was Hurricane Harvey that devastated the Houston area. We need to talk because the tropics are heating up. Now we're talking about four. Yes, four. I'm gonna tell you all we need to know about each system. And it looks like Gert's gonna hold that record for about 2 weeks. Unless one of these three explode. Invest 91L doesn't look that impressive on satellite imagery, but it sure does still have that spin to it. And as long as it has that spin, it's doing well. Like I said in the last video, this system is gonna form. It's just a matter of when. All the models have Invest 91L tracking dead west towards the Lesser Antilles and tracking dead west throughout the Caribbean Sea, all the way to make a landfall in Belize. Invest 91L is gonna make landfall. If it's tracking west, it's getting itself trapped where it's gonna have to make landfall somewhere. But wait and see, Invest 91L is gonna become a tropical depression. It's just a matter of when. We've got three systems. One's Tropical Storm Harvey. Yes, Harvey formed. Harvey's at 105 millibars, and it kind of just looks like a blob on all the satellite imagery. Harvey is gonna track due west all across the Caribbean Sea before it makes landfall in Belize or somewhere on the coast of Honduras. Harvey is going to become a hurricane, but Harvey's gonna track due west. So all the people in Belize and Honduras need to start watching out for Harvey. All the models don't really have Tropical Storm Harvey becoming a hurricane, but I'm saying it's gonna become a Category 1 hurricane. The atmosphere is just too perfect for Harvey not to become a hurricane. We got Tropical Storm Harvey. It's no longer a tropical storm. Okay, fine. Hurricane Harvey. It's not a hurricane either. Oh, so it weakened? Right now it doesn't look like a tropical storm or even a tropical depression. It just looks like an open wave coming off Africa. Harvey got ripped up by shear and is a complete mess. But the National Hurricane Center predicts Harvey's gonna continue to survive. The National Hurricane Center even predicts Harvey to reach 50 miles per hour when it makes landfall somewhere around Belize. We can't look at the storms as they are right now. We have to look for the possible potential of these storms. Getting ripped up by wind shear to the point that it doesn't exist anymore. The GFS does almost the exact same thing. I don't trust the Canadian model right now because it has 3 hurricanes at the same time in the Atlantic in 5 days. And that does not look like it's gonna happen. Definitely not 3 hurricanes in the next 5 days. Maybe not even 1 hurricane. And then it's gonna start taking a more slight northward turn. Harvey's then gonna find itself in the Bay of Campeche where conditions should be pretty good. Harvey's not gonna impact the US at all. Harvey's not gonna impact the US at all.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
All the models have Harvey taking a dip in winds at around 84 hours. That's due to the land interaction with Belize, the Yucatan Peninsula, Honduras. But 24 hours later, it reemerges over the Bay of Campeche. Then all the models have Harvey re-strengthening again. But if it could keep itself together, it's gonna track due west and make landfall somewhere on the Yucatan Peninsula. If you were watching Invest 92L and Harvey closely, you don't have to watch as closely now. They're not gonna form into formidable hurricanes.
What?
Harvey formed, it died, and now Harvey is strengthening back to a tropical storm. But good thing we got to watch the eclipse. Invest Harvey is looking pretty good. It has a whole bunch of thunderstorms and it has a nice little spin to it on the tip of the Yucatan Peninsula. And after that, it gets really interesting. But once it reaches the open waters of the Gulf of Mexico, that's where things get interesting. And with those good conditions of the Gulf of Mexico, I'm not surprised. And all the models have been taking that northward trend. And that's what you have to look for. You have to look for those trends in the models. And each model has been trending northward and northward. And you know what comes into the mix? Texas. The southern tip of Texas needs to watch Invest Harvey. So if you're in Brownsville, Texas, Corpus Christi, you need to be watching Harvey closely. This could become a hurricane, and this could become something fierce. It could rapidly strengthen, and you may not even see it because it's not anything right now. Just if you're in the southern tip of Texas, watch out. Keep your eye out for Harvey because Harvey's gonna become something, and you do not want to be in the way of that storm. And if you are in the way of that storm, you gotta be prepared. Harvey is about to enter the Gulf of Mexico, where it's gonna make a suspicious track to the southern tip of Texas. Things are starting to get serious. The last major hurricane to make landfall in the US was Hurricane Wilma in October 24th in 2005. So it's been 11 years since the last major hurricane made landfall on the US coastline. And it looks like Harvey could break that streak. Hurricane Harvey is rapidly strengthening. and I mean rapidly. This morning, which is yesterday for you, Harvey was a weak tropical storm. But now about 8 hours later, we're dealing with a hurricane. Harvey is in the perfect environment. Harvey came off the Yucatan Peninsula and had an elongated circulation, which slowed down the process for a little bit. So Harvey had to tighten up that circulation. But now that it's tightened, Harvey is just running to the finish line. Harvey's out of control. Harvey looks beautiful on satellite imagery. It's got a beautiful circulation. It's got the nice pinhole eye as of right now. And it's heading straight towards Texas. Straight towards Texas. And it's gonna strengthen a lot. The National Hurricane Center has Hurricane Harvey strengthening to a Category 3 major hurricane. Yes, major hurricane. We haven't had a major hurricane make landfall on US soil since 2005. There's watches and warnings all along the Texas coastline. There's hurricane warnings, I want to say, on 50% of the Texas coastline. Harvey is affecting the whole Texas coastline, from Brownsville all the way to the Texas-Louisiana border. So I urge you, if you're in an area near Corpus Christi, please evacuate. You do not want to mess around with a major hurricane that might be a Category 3 or Category 4 status. You do not want to mess around with those. All the models are in agreement that Harvey's going to land in Texas, and that landfall is going to happen in the next 12 hours. So if you're in Corpus Christi, Brownsville, Galveston, Texas, if you live along that Texas coastline, the hurricane's coming in 12 hours. All the models in agreement that Harvey's gonna reach Category 3 status. This is no bueno for the people in Texas. One model even has Harvey becoming a Category 4 hurricane. There is nothing stopping Harvey right now. Nothing. Harvey's gonna bring a lot of rain and storm surge. They die by the water. They die by the storm surge or the flooding caused by the rain. And Harvey's gonna put down tons of rain. Tons. But let me tell you why Hurricane Harvey is gonna bring extra rainfall. Right now, Harvey's getting steered by a high pressure sitting in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. That's pushing Harvey right into Texas. But then there's also another high pressure sitting in New Mexico. These two high pressures are going to cause Harvey to be stationary. And stationary means the hurricane's not moving. So Hurricane Harvey is just going to sit inland for about a day and just dump wind and rain on the people in Corpus Christi and the surrounding areas. Those two high pressures are just gonna make Harvey sit right next to Corpus Christi and dump tons of rainfall. If I see totals of 2+ feet of rainfall, I'm not gonna be surprised. A slow moving tropical system, way worse than a fast moving one. You want them to be fast. Harvey's just gonna slow down entirely and just sit there and dump rain. Tons and tons of rain. Harvey is just gonna continue to strengthen until it makes landfall just northeast of Corpus Christi. If you're along that Texas coast, stay safe. And this has been your tropical update, and I'll see you in the next one. Harvey made landfall as a major hurricane. On Friday night, Hurricane Harvey, at Category 4 status, made landfall near Rockport, Texas. Rockport, Texas is about 50 miles northeast of Corpus Christi. And we saw all the damage yesterday, and it's a lot of damage. Harvey was rapidly strengthening all the way up to landfall. And I mean all the way up to landfall. Harvey really deepened the eye, and Harvey made its eye pretty big in diameter. This spelled major trouble for Texas. Harvey making landfall as a perfectly symmetrical hurricane with a deepening eye and deepening eye wall, it was guaranteed for there to be damage. And the damage is just devastating. All these pictures are from the aftermath of Harvey. You have flooding all over the streets because of Harvey's tremendous rainfall. You have roofs collapsed or completely flown off and pushed 100 yards in the distance. You have buildings completely destroyed. You have walls completely ripped off of buildings. The damage is just devastating. Harvey right now is a tropical storm at 65 miles per hour. So over the past 24 hours, Harvey has weakened about 70 miles per hour. Harvey is just sitting and dumping tremendous rainfall amounts. It's absolutely crazy. We already have reports of 15 inches already in just the past 24 hours, and you've got many days to come. If you live in the Houston area or anywhere north of Corpus Christi, expect a lot more rain. Maybe upwards of 30 inches of rainfall. Just imagine 30 inches of snow? Well, try imagining that in rain. It's gonna cause some flooding. Rivers are gonna overflow, streets are gonna overflow, water's gonna get into houses. Harvey's gonna make it a mess for anyone living in between Corpus Christi and Houston. Harvey is absolutely crazy. I truly feel bad for all the people in Texas that have to endure all the effects from Harvey. All the people in Texas have been dealing with Harvey since Friday, which is already 4 days ago. But the rainfall totals are absolutely nuts. This could be the worst flooding event in US history. Yes, the worst major flooding event in US history. I said that correct. You've got 40 inches of rain in some places, mostly around the metro Houston area, which is one of the worst case scenarios. The rain is mostly just dumping on Houston, not really Corpus Christi or Rockport or Port Slovakia, just truly Houston. And that's where most people are getting truly affected by Harvey, by all of this flooding. The pictures are truly unbelievable. The rivers are completely over flooding. All the roads are under at least a feet of water. In some areas the water is high as to cover cars. Houston might get 5 feet of rain. They might actually get more than that. This is just an unprecedented event. This has never happened before. All this rainfall in just one centralized place because the system is barely moving. This has never happened before, and it's happening right now. This is a once in a lifetime event because it's nowhere near over yet. In the Houston area, Houston is expected to get 8 to 12 more inches of rain. Just being south of Houston and pulling all the Gulf of Mexico moisture straight dab in Houston. Finally gonna move north, make a landfall in between Houston and Lake Charles. And Harvey's not gonna strengthen at all, even though it's over the Gulf of Mexico, because Harvey already dumped cold rainfall on the Gulf of Mexico. So the Gulf of Mexico ocean temperatures are pretty chilly. Harvey's gonna weaken to a tropical depression and finally fizzle out over Arkansas. And we could finally be done with Harvey. And I can never say Harvey again. Great. And I'll see you in the next one.